Hey, it's Doug from Rise Above Performance Training, and today I have some training strategies to help prevent shoulder injuries. Let's check it out. So the first thing you can do in your workout and doing them daily is shoulder mobility, closed and open chain. So what that means is open chain is there's not any type of connection between your hand and the floor or another apparatus. We're just keeping it open and free. So typical ones that you can do are shoulder rolls. So you can go forward, back, and down. I also like up, back, and down as well. And what you want to do is start small and then really try to increase the range of motion. Now, in terms of the shoulder movement, the shoulder can move infinitely. It's not a traditional joint. It's another one you can do is a circle. So the shoulder is not a traditional joint and it sits in a kind of a set socket. It's held together by the rotator cuff muscles, their tendons, and also ligaments. So what that allows for is infinite movement. Now where we get in trouble is when we get tight in other muscles and in the shoulder itself just by doing things repetitively, and then we try to go do something else like throw a football, or if we land wrong, that's when we injure our shoulder. Also repetitive use of the same thing all the time because we're not getting into those different ranges of motion. Even mousing, being on the computer too long can cause injuries. So that's why we want to do mobility. So again, another one I like is this shoulder rotation. I'm trying to go nice and slow. I hold my hand on my rib cage because I don't want to turn too much. Because I don't want to rotate and kind of fake mobility. So right here it gets a little stiff. I'm going to rotate around and try to work through those ranges of motion. And you can go forward as well. Other ways, I'm going to open up this way. So I'm going to sit on my hips and I'm going to open up my shoulders behind me. So these are all considered open chain movements. So just think about any different ways you can move. I'm going to go back now. So I'm going to have my thumbs down. And I'm just going to retract this way. You can interlace the fingers and do this as well. We can do a little bit of closed chain where I'm actually putting my hands on the ground, where I'm stabilizing the joint. And one I like is the lateral shifting. So I'm just going to go side to side. So again, I'm just trying to find ways to move my joints in different ways. One, so I know where I'm tight. And then two, obviously, to gain that general mobility. Lastly, you can kind of do this down dog where I'm going to push into the ground, kind of rock back and forth here. So those are great to do every day, especially before your general warm-ups and also your training, your weightlifting, your running. Just do them daily and you'll notice a big difference. Another way to work that mobility is through closed chain on a wall or having like a bar like this. And what you're going to do is actually use that to create tension in the distal part of the joint here. So let's say I'm going to grab here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to lean, and I'm just going to kind of move around. I'm not forcing anything, I'm just moving the joint. I'm moving back and forth. I'm moving circular. So I'm just kind of rotating. This one's a little tighter. I can tell when I rotate inward. So that's something I would work on a lot. And you can grab down low and do the same thing. So should not have that peg in that spot. But as you can see, I'm just gripping, which is stabilizing me at the hand and moving here at the joint. And I'll do the other side. Bands are great for this too, so I can loop my hand around in a band. The bands are a little bit more forgiving, and you can kind of retract and turn. And again, you can do different ranges of motion. And this could even be done for, your warm-up before you go to press or bench press. So this is a good general warm-up for that. Also builds up a little bit of strength in those rotator cuff and rhomboids, those retracting muscles of the shoulder. Again, you can put the band down low, do it different ways. The shoulder is intended to move in various directions. So basically, just figure out where you need to be mobile and change it up. All right, the second shoulder strategy emphasis is going to be on external rotation. And external rotation is done when we're bringing the arm away from the body. So that helps train the rotator cuff muscles, but I also notice that a lot of people don't do external rotation that much. They're very tight going this way or going back. So again, a lot of the times in our lives we're more focused inward and not getting outward. So when we go to throw that football or a baseball or softball with that external rotation, even golf, we don't have it there, and then that's where we can get those injuries because we're not trained in that area. So bands are great for this, and you can change the angles again. So that's going to be a reoccurring theme with the shoulders because you can do a lot of different angles. So we're just going to tuck in here, and we're just going to externally rotate the shoulder. So I'm going away from my body, going right to that end range, and then controlling back. What I'm not doing is lifting my elbow away from my body and creating space. I'm keeping it tight. We can bring it up like this, and this is a form of external rotation because I'm bringing my arm outward and I'm mimicking, slight throwing motion. It's not exactly the same, but I want to keep my shoulders stable and see if I can bring it out this way. You can even do them as a mobility drill. We're just bringing it out and up. And then even weights. So I can take some light weights here. These are 5s. I don't need a whole lot. And I can bring them out and up. And you can do them in various positions too. Even lying on the ground or on a bench. I can keep my elbow supported and bring it out. Just like that. So that'll help prevent a lot of future shoulder injuries if you have that range of motion and strength in an externally rotated position. The third area of emphasis is to do unilateral work, which is just a fancy way to say single-sided stuff. A lot of times you do barbell overhead press, rows with the barbell, bench press, cable rows. Those are all great and they do allow for maximum weight, but they're using both arms at the same time. So that way we don't know how each arm moves independently, their strength differences, and their endurance differences. So I do recommend in every workout, you do some single-sided exercises. A very simple one is to do a lot of rowing with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. You can do these on a bench, you can do these standing up. We're just gonna glide and be very conscious of our movement, how smoothly we go, and that way we can really tell if one side is different than the other. So if this side has less endurance or more strength, I can work on those things to balance them out the best I can. Other ones you can do are single front, side, anything you can think of just to work those independent sides, and you can really get a focus for what's doing what, how the endurance is, how the movement is, like, oh, I can't get this one up as high. So really consciously focus on those. Don't worry so much about the weight. Lastly, this kind of goes into point 4, use your grip. So a lot of times I see people doing these rows and they're loose in their grip. When you grip things, even if it's lightweight, you activate all these muscles and you stabilize and you actually get stronger. So when you do go to throw a baseball and things like that, you're not going to grip it tight, but you can activate all those muscles to help you do the movement and also, prevent injuries. Even on the overhead press, I'm going to grip, I'm going to flow into that press and flow down, and I can tell if my other side, it's a little different. I got a little hitch on this side, so I would focus on those kind of things. So again, number 3 and 4, unilateral exercises, and use your grip when you're doing those exercises. The final strategy for shoulder injury prevention is to add perturbations, which are also known as active stabilization exercises. So like we talked about earlier, is the shoulder is held together by rotator cuff muscles. They're very small, high endurance muscles that respond well to short vibrational movements. So things you can do, getting a band, getting a little bit of tension, and just creating small movements. And I'm moving around to build up that endurance and stabilization in the shoulder. So as I bounce around, the shoulder has to constantly stabilize it so it doesn't get out of the socket area. And you can go all different angles. You can move in here. So pretty much your imagination is only limited by you on those. You can grab other pieces of equipment. I found this 1990s body blade exercise, and they tout it as a fat loss piece of equipment, but I love it for doing these rhythmic stabilizations. So you can just do different angles. We do it a lot with our baseball guys. You move it around, you can go down. You can even start out, if it's hard to do that, start with 2 arms. So something like this, you can pick up on eBay probably, and that's very good for those injury prevention and also rehabilitation of the shoulder. Lastly, you can do things dynamic dribbling off the wall. So you can just kind of throw the ball, and that is decelerating and pushing out and causing my shoulder to kind of stabilize and also move the ball at the same time. So we're getting that deceleration, stabilization, and acceleration as well. If you have a partner, you can also be in different positions like a push-up and have them gently pushing on the shoulder joint itself, causing that rhythmic stability effect. So give those a shot. The best way to do these workouts are do your mobility every day. It doesn't have to be a lot, but as you go along, you'll find which ones you need more than the others. Add a little bit of unilateral or single-sided exercise in every workout. So let's say today I'm going to do rows, or tomorrow I'm going to do overhead presses. Do a little bit every single time to kind of help and facilitate your 2-arm movements. Add the grip in all those exercises you do. So anytime you're grabbing a barbell or a dumbbell, you're going to emphasize grip. And then throw these in there. These are great to do in between exercises. So let's say we're doing a little bit of a bench press. We can come over in between and just do some light dribbles on the wall, or do some body blade, or especially on a leg day, so we're not doing upper body, we can do some squats and then do some rhythmic stabilization of the shoulders. So I hope this helped you guys, and I hope it helps prevent future shoulder injuries and give you some ideas on how to go about it and take care of yourself. If you like the video, please like it down below. Also, please consider subscribing as we try to put a new video out a few times a month. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.